The debate over light rail is heating up in Canberra, with both sides of politics hardening their stance. The ACT government is rushing to break ground ahead of October's election, with questions remaining over the total cost of the deal. Meanwhile, the opposition is pushing ahead with its plan to tear up contracts regardless of cost or consequence.
With playful models in hand and flashy promos on show, the government has made it clear Canberrans will be bound to light rail when they go to the polls. Their message to the opposition: build it or else.
Mr Co might as well pile up a big lump of cash in the middle of Northbourne Avenue and set it on fire.
That warning may seem fanciful, but the potential cost of backing down is very real.
Any work done will have to be paid for, as well as any work that's organised to be done.
The greater long-term effect on the ACT's economic standing could be significant.
If governments tear up contracts, then consortium and businesses are going to be more reluctant to deal with them.
Some of these unknowns have been tested before, albeit on a grander scale. In 2014, the then Victorian government signed on to a $5.3 billion toll road 2 months out from the state election. The Labor opposition vowed to cancel the project if it won government, which it did. It promised taxpayers wouldn't pay a cent, but Victoria's Auditor General found a total cost of more than $1.1 billion was paid, with little tangible benefit. The story could be similar in the ACT, but construction is likely to be further ahead.
That would have serious implications for employment. It would have serious implications for the cost of getting out of the deal.
The total cost of cancellation is unclear, but there are just as many questions if the project goes ahead. The government's price tag of $698 million is under expectations, but that's only for construction. Even with a 5% buffer, the final cost could be far more.
They very, very rarely come under budget, but they quite often go over budget, and significantly over.
The government won't reveal the scope of ongoing payments like financing and operation until after Canberrans have signed on the dotted line.
That's the normal process for any contract, for any procurement.
A battle of politics and ideology far from over. James Fettis, ABC News, Canberra.
Well, the Canberra Liberals have staked their election prospects on opposing Canberra Metro, but that stance involves a lot of political risk if contracts are torn up and massive penalty payments made. The person leading the attack for the Liberals is Transport spokesman Alistair Coe, who joins me now in the studio. Welcome, Alistair. Thank you for coming along tonight. Now, given that we still are unclear about the total cost, is it still your position that you will rip up contracts and stop this project if you win government?
Well, there is no doubt whatsoever that if a Liberal government is elected to the Territory Assembly in October of this year, light rail will not go ahead. We firmly believe that the most responsible course of action from here on in would be for the government to put the project on hold, to not actually sign contracts, and to allow the people of Canberra their say in October of this year.
OK, well, let's take that one by one. Now, you know the project is going ahead. Work begins mid-year. Contracts have been signed. People have been employed. You mentioned responsibility. Explain what is responsible about ripping up contracts, big contracts such as this, once the deal has been done.
Well, contracts have not yet been signed. All the government has
they
done
certainly
has said,
will be by October.
Well, the government has said there is a preferred bidder at this point.
But you know, but once the election comes around, the work will have started and the contracts will be finalised and signed. You've said we'll rip them up. What is responsible about that?
What we're saying to the people of Canberra and to the ACT government is that we will not go ahead with this project, and therefore the ACT government should act in the best interests of taxpayers, not the consortium, and go for the cheapest possible termination cost. There will be a terminate for convenience clause, and therefore we hope the government will actually be advocating for taxpayers and not the international consortium.
Mr Coe, you don't have the support of some in the community for your position. The Canberra Business Chamber says the sovereign risk issue in ripping up contracts is significant. Now, what's your understanding of what that means?
There will be a terminate for convenience clause in this contract. So therefore, we will enact that clause if it is reasonable to do so.
But the sovereign risk issue, though, which is a very profound one, what do you understand that to mean?
The sovereign risk issue here is stark. if the government goes ahead and signs this contract and puts in an extortionate
let's
fee.
say they do.
So we will simply not tolerate
They've
with a
said they'll
poison
go
pill.
ahead with it. Now, you've said if we win, we will rip it up. So what is your understanding of the sovereign risk? What do you think that the message that you will be sending to investors, to developers, not just in Canberra, but Australia-wide and overseas?
Our number one stakeholder is the people of Canberra. And the people of Canberra, for decades, for generations, should not be lumped with a decision that the people of Canberra do not want. So therefore, we're giving the people of Canberra a very clear choice. We're saying if you elect a Liberal government in October, this project won't go ahead.
Mr Coe, long-term vision and big civil projects like this, such as the light rail, employ people, they stimulate the economy and create a lot of activity. If you're going to throw this away, what's your big economic stimulus plan for Canberra?
Well, there is no doubt that if you spend over $1 billion on a project, you're going to get some economic activity.
Okay, so what's your
the challenge is making sure
though?
When you spend $1 billion, you've actually got a substantial legacy. And with light rail, we're not going to have a positive legacy.
Okay.
In actual fact, we will have a liability.
Just address the question. What is your plan in its place?
Our plan is number one for the people of Canberra. We want to bring back confidence to our education system.
But
we want to bring back confidence to our health
system. Stimulus plan.
Well, we have already announced numerous road projects across the ACT. And over the next 9 or so months before the election, the people of Canberra will have a crystal clear idea about our vision for moving people around our city.
Okay, well, I think it's going to be a very big and busy year for all of us. Alistair Coe, thank you very much for coming to the studio.
Thank you.